They won the ODI, they've won the T20 International. Now it's off to Sydney. Will it be business as usual for Australia? But for now, let's focus on this game. 161 for 7. In isolation, it maybe we thought 10, 15 runs short. But like the ODI, even a subpar total with good bowling and fielding and 12 players to the rescue meant that it could be a very different story. The reason I say 12 players is, of course, because the talking point of the day will be the concussion substitute. Towards the end of India's batting innings, Ravindra Jadeja, he got hit on the helmet. Ball ballooned up to Moses Henriques. He didn't take the catch, but nobody came onto the field to try and fix that hit on the head. So it didn't look hard enough. He hit some beautiful blows after that. The question was it a delayed concussion as India went into the dressing room because he also had an apparent hamstring injury? Net, Justin Langer came out to have a chat with David Boone. Nothing came of it. And Yuzvendra Chahal not only came in as a concussion sub, but he certainly made the Australians have a headache or two with his 3 wickets. And he certainly is a contender for man of the match. What do our panel think about it? I've discussed it briefly with Michael Vaughan on Cricbuzz Combox, but I want Zaheer Khan's opinion on the entire issue. Zaheer, it is going to be the talking point. Your view on the matter?
Well, you can say that the hit was a timely hit on the head. You know, that certainly gave that smartness in thinking to come in play. India was in well within the rights of using that concussion rule to their advantage. You can call it smart, you can call it cheeky, and you will never know, because the concussion is this something, it's about how the player is feeling and how the medical staff is examining that. End of the day, it's going to be what Ravindra Jadeja had to say, whether he's feeling anything on those lines or not. And I'm sure because of that, everything was well within the boundaries of the rules which are set. You can say, this has opened up that gray area going forward when it comes to concussion rule. That is definitely debatable. But today, I think, apart from being upset and angry, Langer cannot do much about how things panned out.
Let's just round off this discussion by actually looking at the laws as we interpret them. They can be very wordy at times, so we'll put them up. Not necessarily read into every single word, but for all of you out there, worth having a look at what we're talking about. The operative part of the concussion sub-rule 1.2.7, the head or neck injury must have been sustained during playing area, box ticked. A concussion or suspected concussion must have been formally diagnosed by the team medical representative, obviously box ticked. The real question is, what we are putting forth is, does it have to have happened immediately, or as Rahi said, since it happened in the 20th over, concussion can take place in a delayed form, and the ICC match referee ordinarily appoint a concussion replacement if the replacement is a like-for-like player whose inclusion will not excessively advantage his team for the remainder of the match. So it was bowler for bowler in that sense. Jadeja might be an all-rounder, but bowler for bowler is what we are talking about. We remember an earlier situation where Mehdi Hassan Miraj had come on as a concussion sub for a batsman in the day-night test match in Kolkata. He was not allowed to bowl on that occasion. So in terms of Yuzvendra Chahal's role, no argument on that respect whatsoever. But purely looking at the rules, I think it was fair and square. If anything, somebody will need to look at those grey areas and maybe paint them either black or white, Michael.
Well, the key word here is actually suspected concussion. So today's scenario, it fits in perfectly with that rule, saying that they suspected a concussion. It need not be tomorrow or right now as we speak. Jadeja might be feeling fine, and no one can do anything about it. So I think because of the clarity in terms of stating that rule, I don't think for anyone it's going to be easy to question the decision which was made today.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's the point, Michael.
Yeah, I think, Gatton, the bigger area is probably the independent doctor that should be there. The Indian doctor is just going to work on behalf of the Indian team. The Australian doctor would have done exactly the same, working on behalf of the Australian team. What's best for Australia, what's best for India. The doctors are going to do they're in that team. They are part of the Indian team or part of the Australian team. It really does need the ICC to, and I know it's more of an expense, but we do need independent doctors on site because, we all know that concussion it is becoming more prominent across all sports. So it's very important that if we're going to have concussion replacements, we need an independent doctor on site.